Hello, my pack, my tribe. Welcome to Howling After Dark. So, interesting thing happened this morning. I get a call, I get a message, first off, from my adopted daughter, Sarah. And she's like, would you be up to me calling you and doing an interview? And, of course, I said sure. And so we talked for probably a little over an hour on the phone through Facebook voice chat, actually. And she's asking me all these questions, and I'll get into those in a second. But the whole preface to this is that she has a lot of people coming to her asking these questions that want to hear from me, the founder of the team and Ghostwolf Paranormal. And part of that is because she's trying to establish a splinter team, if you will, Ghostwolf International. And for those that are overseas listening, that are interested in the paranormal, have any kind of paranormal experience, and would like to join our team, we're looking to start, if you will, satellite teams in European countries. So, the UK, Italy, Spain, everywhere, right? And what we want is like-minded investigators that don't assume that everything is negative, that don't go into situations provoking, basically disrespecting the spirits, which has never made sense to me anyways, because you wouldn't disrespect somebody in their own home, so why the fuck would you do it? Things of that nature. And but I guess all these people in where she lives in Australia had all these questions, and so I'm going to go over some of what we talked about, but I'm not going to ruin it, because she's actually writing an article that is going to be posted to all of our social media stuff. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, right? But I'm gonna kind of like short ball it, I guess you can call it. So basically, what we were talking about is a lot of the questions he's getting is like what are my thoughts on actual possession? And I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but I'm going to say this. Most of what people call possession is not possession at all. It's actually what's called attachment. Possession is actually pretty rare, with the exception of, because there's two different types of possession, with the exception of one of those types is a little bit more common. But the type that is like heavily portrayed in the movies like Exorcist and stuff, that stuff is actually incredibly rare. In fact, legitimately, and I call it legitimately because of the evidence backing up the claims. Legitimately, I can count on one hand how many times there's actually been that kind of possession. Because it's rare. Because the things that would possess you that way are rare. So I explained that, and I explained that the other type of possession is where you're like inviting it in. An example of this that I think most people get is like what spiritual mediums do. Like where, like they're having a seance and they're calling the spirit in, and then the spirit goes into them, and then they communicate through the person. That kind of thing, right? And then when they're done, like they eject the spirit essentially and go about their lives, right? So two different, very different things, right? The other thing we talked about is how most of what people think is negative actually isn't. It's misidentified out of fear, right? So for example, I'm going to kind of like build this like a story, right? So say you're a nice young couple with, say, 2.5 kids and a dog that just moved into this old rickety house that's kind of a fixer-upper out in the Georgia woods somewhere. And nothing happens for probably the first week or two. And you're just kind of unpacking things, fixing things up, when you hear one of your kids scream. Alright, so of course, what do? You go running to the kid to find out what's going on, and it says there's a monster in my closet. Or there's a, whatever it is. And you think it's just, childhood imagination, because that's what we have written all of this stuff off as, is childhood imagination. Despite the overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Right? So, of course, it's at first write it off. And then one day, something happens to the mom. Where she's cleaning in the kitchen or doing something, maybe working on a laptop from home, and then out of the corner of her eye, she sees this figure standing there. And then when she turns and looks, it disappears. But she knows what she saw, and now she's starting to doubt it herself. But because it has been pounded into us since childhood that these things do not exist, we have automatically put a negative connotation to it. So she's thinking this thing's dark, it's evil, it's demonic, right? So she calls somebody like me to come and cleanse her home. And of course, they do their due diligence and do an investigation, see if what they're dealing with is evil. And maybe they'll go ahead and go through whatever the cleansing ceremony is, for them, and, just to put the people at ease. But where this falls down, and most people fail at this, is nobody explains to the people that most of what they're afraid of is not shit they should be afraid of. Most of what they're afraid of are people just like you and me. They just happen to be on the other side. Right? So we talked about that. And we talked about a few other things too. And I'm not going to give it all away because, I want people to actually read the article, because I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be the shit. Like we're going to get a lot of traction just from this article, I'll tell you right now. So I'm being very careful about what I say, because I don't want to, run it. But the point is the reason why we're doing this article is so that people realize he is legitimately part of the team, because there's a lot of people questioning that, I guess, over in Australia. And they need to know that, yes, she is in fact legit she's not bullshitting you. What she says is the truth. Right? And if you're in Australia and you're one of these people and you still have doubts, feel free to email me at J, the letter J, PETET 1969 at gmail.com. That's jpettit1969 at gmail.com. And I will answer all of your questions. I have zero problem doing that. So, I want to make this clear for people. Alright. Media, popular media, has largely given the populace of the world a negative outlook when it comes to spirits, right? And I'm not saying that there isn't negative stuff out there, believe me, there is. I've had to deal with it. But the truly negative evil stuff is really rare. And I have no problem cleansing homes. I've done it over 500 times and have never had a callback where I had to do a return visit. Not once. Now, some might think that's an incredible track record, and or they might think that I'm saying these numbers because I'm bragging, and neither one of those things are true. The reason I'm saying this is so that you understand that I am a true professional when it comes to this stuff. And mostly what I do is I'll investigate, see if something negative or evil is actually there, and then I'll deal with it. Alright? That's maybe 1% of the job, because there's maybe 1% of all of that I've actually had something negative or evil in the home to deal with. 99% of my job is putting people at ease with what is going on in their home. It's making them feel less scared. And their fear I largely blame on two things. Not social media, but popular media like TV shows and movies and stuff, and their upbringing. Because what happens when we're children is we're taught, no, there's no monsters under the bed. No, your imaginary friend isn't real. No, there's no scary man in the closet. And so we stop seeing these things. We stop feeling these things. And we shouldn't be doing that, because those sights and those feelings and those sensations are natural, and they're a part of our primal survival instinct, right? And they're a part of instincts that we are born with. The reason that more people can't see them or hear them or feel them is because of this fact. Because it is basically fucking squashed out of them as children. Alright? So if I can make even one family feel better about the home that they inhabit and give them the tools to feel safe, even with spirits in the home, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do it for free, because I don't charge for shit. The only exception to that might be, and this is a big might be if it's like a long distance away and we have to drive there and we gotta pay for gas. But that's it. Like we're not like getting anything out of it other than maybe gas money. And that's all we want. Really, because like we're not doing this for a fee. We're not trying to get rich off of this. We're doing this to combat the damage that popular media has done. That has always been our mission statement. It is always going to be our mission statement. Added to the fact that we just want real spirit communication to satisfy ourselves. Because we're not looking to prove it to anybody. You either believe or you don't. And, there it is. So that's the reason why Ghostwolf International is going to be such a big thing once we get it off the ground and we actually have satellite teams in different European countries. That means that's more people in the world that we can reach. And the more people that we can reach and make feel better about whatever's going on, the better it is for everybody across the board. On both sides. Right? So, that's why we're doing this. And I have made Sarah in charge of Ghostwolf International. Alright. Now we have two other teams. We have the one here in New Mexico, and we have another one in Ohio. Alright, so we kind of have East and West covered in the United States. So it only makes sense to eventually branch out internationally. And so that's what we're doing. Because even the truly dark and evil things, you shouldn't be afraid of. And the reason why is very simple, because that's what they feed on. They feed on anything negative. So any kind of negative emotion, fear, anger, whatever, is just going to make them more powerful, and therefore a bigger problem to deal with. Right? But if you don't fear these things and you stand up to them, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna back the fuck down, because bullies are cowards at heart. That's the truth. You stand up to a bully, generally they back down. So that's our goal, right? And for those that don't know that are listening, I just want to also announce that officially GhostwolfParanormal.com is up and running. So it has a contact page where you can contact us, and we will get back to you ASAP and address whatever concerns you might have about whatever's going on. Or if you just want to write to us and say, hey, you guys are doing a good job or whatever, we'd love to get those too. And I'm not done with this website yet, because I'm adding more stuff to it, including a page just for Ghostwolf International and a Meet the Team page where you'll be able to see each member, like a picture of each member of our group, along with their bio. And the bio will include like their paranormal history, how they got into it, and including myself. So there you go. Check it out. There is some stuff up already. There's the homepage, which is just some cool graphic images. Then there's about, which basically breaks down what we're about. And then there's evidence, which is the few bits of evidence that we still have left that weren't destroyed by computer virus or just losing hard drives or whatever, right? So that's a YouTube video of an investigation we did in the very beginning called Alexander Commons, and it's a picture, and I'm going to be adding some EVP stuff. So it's all still ongoing, but you can still visit the site. And so there's going to be a few more pages to it by the time I'm done. And there you go. And that is about all the time I have, folks. Until next time, my pack, my tribe. Peace out.